Welcome to the channel, my name is Matthias aka Broken Elegance, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make this really cool growl bass that you can layer under your supersaws. It has been used on so many melodic bass, melodic dubstep tracks, from Seven Lions to Crystal Skies, and it's a really classic sound. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys how to do this, so let's dive into the door. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the wavetable and preset are down below in the description, so make sure to grab those.
I've prepared this demo for you guys. I'm going to play it from the build up, and then we are going to look at the drop synth. Every instrument in this demo is made with Vital, so if you guys are interested, I can make tutorials on any of them. Just let me know. And this is a demo track for upcoming Odyssey melodic dubstep pack, so stay tuned for that one. My PC can barely survive the drop. But now let's dive into the tutorial. So this is what we are looking at. And specifically this guy. So today we are focusing on the supersaw. I have already tutorial on my YouTube channel about the supersaw. Now we are going to make a bass layer for that. Starting with initialized preset, you can go to this menu and click over here to do that. And for this sound, I'm using one of my custom wavetables from upcoming Black Lotus Odyssey. We are choosing the Deep Expedition, and that sound like this. I'm going to pull down the transpose 2 octaves like that. It's really nice growl wavetable. Now I'm going to route this through filters 1 and 2, and I'm going to pump up the voices to 3, pull down the unison detune to 4. Then I'm going to choose vocode for the spectral morph, and over here we are going to choose FM from oscillator 2. This is a FM bass, so I'm modulating this waveform with another waveform. And for that I'm going to enable oscillator 2. I'm going to pull down the level all the way. I'm going to pull down the pitch 2 octaves like we did with the oscillator 1. Now for the waveform, I'm going to choose basic shapes, and we are going to have plain sine wave. Now you can play with the FM amount to change the tone of this growl. Next I'm going to create this LFO1, which is going to look like this. I'm going to drag the LFO1 to frequency morph of oscillator 1 and pull it to about 1/4. Turn on the filter 1 and choose diode and low shelf. I'm going to drag up this cutoff and pull this blend to about halfway. I'm going to also pump up the resonance and turn down the mix. With this diode filter we are going to create this growliness on the sound. I'm going to turn also the key track up a little bit. Now I'm going to drag the LFO1 to the resonance. And have just a little bit of that on the resonance. I'm going to also drag the LFO1 to the mix of the filter 1. Like that. You can kinda hear the growliness starting to emerge. Now I'm going to apply the filter tool, pull this blend to about halfway, drag the cutoff to somewhere around here, and I'm going to lower down the resonance a little bit. We are going to choose Format and this first one, and these formats are really good for growl basses. Let's pull down the mix and let's pull down spread a little bit and also peaks. Then I'm going to apply the same LFO1 to the cutoff of this format filter. We are going to pull that back to somewhere around there. I'm going to pull it also on the resonance. Maybe something like that. And I'm also going to pull it to the spread of this sound. I like that. Now I'm going to pull down the voices over here, so we can only play one voice at a time. If you want, you can add legato, so you can have, with the glide, you can have this following effect. But that's optional. For now, let's turn it off. Then we are going to move to the effects page. There I'm going to turn on the chorus and turn up the depth and also turn down the mix to about 10%. I'm really liking this vital chorus. I think it sounds really good on basses. Let's pull down the spread and raise the cutoff a little bit. Next we are going to add phaser. I'm going to pull down the depth and feedback, and also I'm going to pull down the center a little bit. Then I'm going to assign the LFO1 to the center and have it modulate the center spot just very lightly. All of these modulations depend a little bit about the key or the note that you are playing, and you might have to adjust these to the taste. Now let's add some distortion. I'm going to pump up the drive and pull down the mix and choose Seinfeld and choose linear fold. Then I'm going to add a compressor pull down the mix and pump up the highs a little bit. Then we can drag on this high upper ratio to pump up the high end even more. Now what you can do is to drag this LFO to the mix and have a little bit of modulation there. That's optional. Now let's add EQ. And with this, I'm going to actually create a new LFO, and it's going to have a little bit different shape. And I'm going to change the shape of the low band to high cut like that, and I'm going to add the LFO2 to the cutoff. Now with this, we are creating this following movement. Then let's add this middle band, which is bandpass. And for that, I'm going to boost it about 6 decibels. And also I'm going to add this LFO1 to the cutoff. We are going to have these two move like that. And also we could go back to the low band and pull the resonance up a little bit. That's pretty great. Now I'm going to add a little bit more high end with the high band. So let's go to the high band and drag the LFO1 to it. Let's pull down the gain and have it modulated like that. So at the start we are having a little bit less high end, but then it's increasing with this curve. And for this I'm going to pull down the resonance. That's great. Now I'm going to add a filter, and we are going to assign the LFO2 to this filter. I'm going to pull down the resonance to about 20 and increase this. Then we can also add a little bit drive. Now we are almost there, but there is one last thing to do, which is to create third LFO shape and assign that LFO on the global transpose. So go to the global and choose voice transpose. I'm going to pump up the amount a little bit to somewhere around there and choose bipolar. Now this LFO3 has control of the pitch of our sound. So if I play this, you can hear how it follows this shape. The middle point, because we have bipolar enabled, is over here. And if you are not seeing this grid, you can increase the y-axis on the grid. So I'm going to put it on 2, and now you can draw this kind of shape. Now you can experiment with this curve, but I will create this following curve where I start a little bit lower and then raise up and then fall back down, and this will create sort of a growliness. Like if you imagine lion growling, pitch of the growl starts on the low notes and raises up like rah. So we are simulating that with this pitch, and it sounds actually really good. But you can do all sorts of crazy stuff with this. That is the basic sound. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Now this is really basic sounding growl bass, but with post-processing you can turn this to pretty much anything. And as I said, when making supersaws and supersaw stacks, you don't really want to go overboard with the bass sounds. It's really important to have all of the attention on the elements that you want your listener to pay attention. If you want really big supersaw chords, tone down the bass. Have it supporting the supersaws, but not stealing the attention. That is really important mixing advice, and that's why even though we have capability to create really crazy sounding dubstep basses, we don't want to do that always. Now let me show you guys. I have this demo and we have this second drop which has all sorts of bass design, and if you guys are interested I could do more upfront bass tutorials for you guys. Like here, this is pretty much a sound design experiment, but it has all sorts of cool elements. Let me play it to you guys. And my CPU is dying. I have so many of these cool little basses over here. And if you guys are interested, I could make tutorials on them. Many of these sounds will be also on the melodic bass preset pack Odyssey, so stay tuned for that. And I'm going to sign out and get you guys on the next tutorial.